You might be a professional person watching this, but your life could change in a matter of weeks. You could go to work on a Monday morning, and then a couple of days later, your landlord wants you out. You're still going to work while you're on the street, but you know what's going to happen if 3 days later you're sacked because you've turned up in the morning and you're not clean. People are coming round every hour offering you drugs, and you've lost your job, you've lost your flat, and they're giving you something that's going to make you feel better. What are you going to say? In a matter of 2 or 3 weeks, you've gone from going to work, and 2-3 weeks later, you are that drug addict on the street.
Individual stories matter because they can create a chain reaction, but it all starts with singular people making a difference. In Birmingham, England, Raj is one of those people. An entrepreneur and a property developer, he owns Itihaas, an Indian restaurant, while operating as a business, serving lunch and evening meals. The kitchen also prepares meals for 150 to 200 people in need. It's part of a program called Let's Feed Brum, and today we're going to learn more how it's impacted the city, and we'll also learn more on how it's impacted a former recipient, Rudy, who now works with Raj.
So Birmingham has now seen an influx of foreign money that it'd never seen before. And this is all based on a train system that's coming to Birmingham called HS2. And HS2 will link Birmingham to London in 45 minutes. We're also going to be hosting the Commonwealth Games in 2022. So as a business owner and as a property developer, I'm really excited about Birmingham's development. But as a charitable-minded trustee board member, I'm scared. They're being shunned away from those doorways of the city centre because they don't look aesthetically pleasing. The problem is that the areas that they're being displaced to aren't used to dealing with homelessness. They're shooing them away as well. So you're shifting the problem to different areas. The Let's Feed Brum is a collective of 6 individuals coming together. And I thought it'd be a really giving thing to hand out food to some homeless people and as part of a Christmas campaign. The anticipation was that there'd be 20, 30 people, and we went out with 30 packs. What we realized very quickly is we needed over 150, maybe 200 packs.
And the marketing campaign was to bring awareness truly to the restaurant, maybe?
Yes,
to the business?
It was a completely selfish act. It was a commercial act to bring awareness to the restaurant. We didn't realize that there was such a need for it. What it's now become is a social environment for them, for the people that we're looking after. It's somewhere where they can come and share their problems about benefits, how they can try and get into temporary accommodation. It's where women can get sanitary products. Well, people can get sleeping bags for the night. Whatever their need is, we try and fulfill it. We've got something like 300 volunteers now. This is a collective that started with 6 people that now has 300 volunteers operating 6 days a week. So we'll cook things like pasta bakes. If we do make a curry for them, spice means flavor. So if we talk about things like turmeric, cardamom, these are spices, but they're not the kind of spices that are going to burn your mouth and you need a jug of water afterwards. Now those spices going inside you are just going to make you feel good. Once the meals are prepared in bulk, I will pack them in individual boxes, similar to when you're ordering a takeout. And the format when you arrive to serve hot food is your car pulls up, volunteers are alerted to the fact that the hot food has arrived, and the table will be set up, and the people that you're serving now, we call them customers, so if they're customers of Let's Feed Brum, they will queue up in anticipation of the hot food. So bases where we set up and where people are queuing up. Walkabout are where we're going out with a team of volunteers with food, with soup, with tea and coffee, and you'll have 5 or 6 different groups walking in different corners of Birmingham city centre, and they'll be looking for the individuals who have found a safe place to sleep for the night, and they're kind of sacrificing, do I go and queue up at Let's Feed Brum for a hot meal, or do I keep this security of this shelter that I've got? We'll go out and find them if they can't come to us.
It doesn't feel like volunteering. You get to know people, and we know regulars, and we just start seeing people on a weekly basis and talking to them. And it's just a moment every day where you do get to talk to another person like a human being. And I think the one thing about volunteering with an organisation like Let's Feed Brum is you really understand how much in common we do all have.
All working class families are 3 paychecks away from being homeless, and that's all it needs, is that spiral of events.
Fear is one of the things that feeds the misconceptions. And the reason you don't want to look that person in the eye is because you're afraid of what that's going to mean. And we've got to be careful not to condemn people for that either, because actually it's ignorance, that's all it is. So part of what we have to do as a charity is to dispel these myths about these people.
Very shamefully, I was one of those people that had the attitude, well, you're really lazy, you've got 2 arms, 2 legs, you look like an able person, why should I part with my hard-earned money? I already know I'm a successful businessman, I employ across my businesses 50 people, and therefore I know everything in the world, and I can't be taught. No, the reality is be open-minded, be willing to learn.
So you would walk down the high street several years ago, you would see a homeless person.
And that's, well, the problem is, John, I wouldn't see the homeless person, but at that time, I was trained to tune them out, and I think that's how society is. We block them out because we want to ignore them, we don't want to do anything about them. My life changed forever. I could never be the same person that I was from the first night that I went out. I became emotional, I became grateful. Everything around me looked, felt and tasted better. I always say that once somebody volunteers with Let's Feed Brum or a charity like us, it becomes an innate part of you. You might drift in and out as a volunteer, but you'll become a changed person.
That is one thing that a lot of homeless people will say. People don't even acknowledge they exist.
It's like a prison cell, but it's worse than being in prison. It's worse than being in prison. One of my mates got burnt alive in his sleeping bag about 8 years ago in Windsor. They literally zipped up the sleeping bag, chucked a load of lighter fuel in the thing and lit it. And he's dead. He's dead now, just because he had the wrong colour sleeping bag.
First 3 weeks, probably the hardest weeks in my life. I had to sleep rough on the street. Nobody was gonna take you in. Friends, I didn't have no friend.
And did I read that people would spit on you?
Yes, they did. Just sitting there, not doing nothing. And one guy got out of the car, like very expensive, like a Porsche or something, or something very nasty words, and spit at us.
You graduated university?
Yes.
So you
I have a
went
master's degree in particle physics.
Rudy, I don't want to overlook this. It's freezing cold. You have no option to cope with this. You choose heroin, and heroin. Am I correct that heroin, when you have this, it blanks everything out?
That's what it does.
Is that what it does?
It's clouded.
It's just
that's
a coping mechanism.
Yes, it's a coping. Without that, you can't cope. You die. Simple, you die.
Is it?
Yes.
So you were introduced to Raj.
I would never think of a businessman to give you a chance to a guy from the street. And he said, come tomorrow, 12 o'clock. And we talk. I couldn't believe that. He said, look, I have this job open for you. You have to do this. I said, okay, whatever, I'm doing anything, no problem. And this was 3 years ago. And I'm still here.
Rudy would come straight to my car, he would greet me. So his way of saying thank you was, I'll help you offload your car. I'll carry these bottles of water if you carry the tray of food. I ran with his momentum. I didn't create Rudy. Rudy was the one that was desperate to break through. I just chipped away at the edges. Rudy was like a half-made sculpture. So he found hope through Let's Feed Brum. through hope he found an opportunity through me. What I've learned now is that as long as a man has some kind of hope, some kind of focus, some kind of reason, he'll find that path if he's strong enough. All we do is help him, remind him of his reason, and help find that path and help find the support. He likes to spread the message because he wants to help find the next Rudy, inspire the next Rudy to come forward, and he wants to inspire the next Raj to say, you know, Mr. Restaurateur, Mr. Business Owner, please give the next Rudy a chance. He wants to spread his message. Heroin has become a commodity on the street, and what drug pushers are doing is giving out heroin and other drugs like it to people who are homeless on the street. They become addicted, but then they need that fix again, and they become the runners for the pushers. And that's what Rudy and others were being encouraged to do. So they'd become addicted to heroin, and then they were being pushed to then run these drugs for these pushers to get the next batch. Who are we to judge? All you can do for somebody like that is provide a little bit of infrastructure, a little bit of support, and just help them on their daily progress. What we can't do is judge. That sharing of a sandwich, I mean, your gesture of sharing a sandwich is so different to handing them a sandwich. Handing them a sandwich is a donation. Sharing a sandwich is saying, brother, let's break bread together. That's so much more symbolic, and that's what they wouldn't have experienced that day.
What's the biggest gift a human being, someone like myself, can do for someone who's homeless besides giving them money? Smile.
Conversation. Listen to the guy, ask him on his words to tell you his story.
You may become homeless, or you may find yourself in a situation where you're homeless, but that doesn't mean that you don't still have ambition. That doesn't mean that you don't want to try and find a way out of that situation. It doesn't mean that you don't still have so much to give society.
This has been said to me again more than once. Someone sat on the ground with coins in their hat and said, you know, I'd give all that back if someone would just sit next to me for 15 minutes, talk to me. See how precious it is, what we have to give.
You feel loved.
Yes, love, yes.
You feel love. And I think if you show someone love, it will only help them grow.
Yes.
And it will give them that worthiness that they should be a part of society.
Then they feel
that
they're part of something, not just kicked on a side.
This can be done absolutely anywhere. I know for a fact my fellow trustees and co-founders will all hold their hands up and say, we were not experts. Actually, if everyone pulls together and says, what do you need from me and can I help you with that, we can make the world go round.
Don't look at people from the outside, but believe that inside that person, there's just a diamond waiting to be polished. And, you know, don't we want that for ourselves and for each other?
We, as volunteers, get way more out of it than they do. It's the most addictive feeling that I've ever found in life. But I also hope that Let's Feed Brum becomes an organisation that's replicated. There's no reason why you shouldn't have Let's Feed Liverpool, Let's Feed Manchester, Let's Feed London. I would love to be Let's Feed Brum to be my legacy that carries on. Lead by example, go out on the streets, start serving, but then find other businesses, other restaurants that you can inspire and connect with. You will find that if you're out there leading by example, others will jump on board.
I think the big thing, what I hope a lot of people have learned from today is that your life changed for the better the day you served that first meal.
Yes.
And it's truly beautiful. Thank you for sharing your story, and just thank you for being an amazing soul.
Thank you, John. Thank you very much.
It is. Let's Feed Brum is a charitable organisation, but those who run it are everyday people with day jobs like you and me. At Itihaas, the staff cook meals for fine dining patrons, but they devote an hour or two of time each evening to cook food for the needy. This is your life, and this is your journey. Every life you touch will become a part of your legacy. The question is, how do you want to be remembered? I'm John Ashton, and this is Living Proof.